About Tesla, which is another fantastic subject. So basically, Roger Anderton.
Okay, so this talk is of course about Tesla and extraterrestrial music. So Nikola Tesla was one of the greatest scientific minds who ever lived. His genius matched in many cases exceeded that of Einstein. Whereas Einstein's work was primarily in theories and equations describing the universe. Tesla was an inventor. Tesla developed working models with most of his ideas, and he actually demonstrated his theories and inventions, most of which were so astounding they could hardly be comprehended during his lifetime. And this is from, I'm quoting from there, from that website, about Nikola Tesla. So Tesla, sort of his genius was sort of eclipsed when Einstein came along. And Tesla's work ended up being confiscated. When Tesla died, January 7th, 1943, in New York City, the FBI made an immediate trip to his apartment to gather all his notes. These notes have never been released even today. And so, sort of like, yeah, a kind of cover-up sort of thing. And so Tesla made a lot of extraordinary claims, and one of his claims he made was that he managed to get contact with aliens, and that sort of thing now gets dismissed by the mainstream. So Tesla ends up in a lot of times being mentioned in magazines like this one, Nexus magazine. If you want to see it, he's getting associated with claims about a time machine. But I'm just dealing with the claim about having had contact with aliens. And Tesla was an early pioneer in radio, and Tesla, along with Marconi, were reporting that they were getting strange signals on the radio which they thought were possibly extraterrestrial. In their language at the time they would have called it Martians. So there have been people who've followed on with this sort of thing, like one of my friends who's called Peter Cheesley, and he's picked up what he claimed was extraterrestrial music. I've got a copy of it here. Play it. So, Peter Cheesley has had a radio dish in his garden. He was picking up these sort of music based on using Tesla's ideas about physics.
And that was picked up from
His radio dish.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, go back. So, the direction he was getting that from was from a place called Gliese 581, and it's the centre of what is now recognised as the planetary system, about 20 light years away from Earth in the Libra constellation, and it's sort of one of the possible places which might have alien life. So that's the direction he was getting it from. And I reported this in in an online UFO magazine. Oh, there it is. Called you on inline UFO magazine 2007, I think it is. And didn't seem to get much interest from it, from people. And reported it to SETI, and SETI wouldn't sort of give any reply about it. Right. And so, what I did, I wrote an article for a dissident group of people interested in physics, explaining how this sort of thing was, the physics behind it, based upon Tesla, and I still didn't get much interested from it. So that's on page 2. I was explaining the ETI radio signal. So what I sort of found out is the reason why it gets dismissed. We didn't get any decent reply from SETI. SETI, by the way, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, is because of Einstein is taken as an authority on physics now. And so Tesla was working on all physics, which was pre-Einstein. And now with physicists, now with Einstein, the physicists are saying things that block them mentally from accepting what was dealt with in the old physics. One of the things that Einstein supposedly did was discard the ether, i.e. a medium for light, electromagnetic radiation. Some people I've talked to say he discarded the ether, others say he didn't, etc. All these things lead to confusion. And so, but it's sort of like the majority sort of thing said by people that there's no ether, and you get books like Einstein for Dummies, where they say there's no ether. If I quote from it, it's on page 43. With the publication of this paper, this is Einstein, the ether is gone from physics. So, from most people's point of view, the ether no longer exists in physics. And so, all this old physics before Einstein, where you were talking about things of using ether, it's sort of, people don't, the physicists sort of, I don't believe it anymore.
What is ether?
Ether is sort of a medium for light to travel through. We've got water waves. Water is a medium for the waves. And so if you've got an electromagnetic wave or a light wave, you think, oh, there's a medium for that. And that's what they were thinking about before Einstein. And so their physics was based upon doing it from that sort of way. But with Einstein, he said, no, there's no ether. So it sort of like acts as sort of like mental block when they teach physics students there's no ether.
But they know very well it's there anyway. It's in the spiritual world as well, we know there's a theory.
Yes.
So the ether's got to exist, it's the one above, it's the fifth element, isn't it?
But I don't think most of physicists and scientists don't like to think about things paranormal.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of like mental block that you talk to the majority of them and they say there's no ether. But there are people who do physics and they have an opinion, yeah, maybe there is an ether and so forth, but the majority opinion is there's no ether, and most people are taught there's no ether. So it is a mental block. And the old physics, which Tesla was doing, it's sort of like they've got a mental block from looking at it from that sort of way.
Isn't that Swiss place doing the black dark matter now? CERN. Yeah. Aren't they covering that etheric thing? With that, is that what they're doing there?
Well, I think that's diversional.
Is it?
It gets more complicated than we go into it. But I'm just picking up on this point. So I've been looking at it, So I've been looking at it, and the latest thing I say is that Einstein had been mistranslated. So what happens, 1905, Einstein writes in German, and it doesn't get translated into English until more than a decade later. And when they've translated it into English, they've got it wrong, it's been mistranslated. And so that's what the latest thing I'm saying. So they got the theory wrong from Einstein. Okay? So, and the other way they try to dismiss it is there is similar sounds being picked up, but not by the same method as what Peter Cheesley was using. There's similar things. So,
does the sound vary at all?
What sound?
Like the recording.
What is it? Too horrible sound?
No. Does it change, or is it the same sound that comes all the time of that recording?
Well, that was sort of like click, click, click sort of thing from Peter Cheesley. And he analysed it, and he says that is intelligence behind that sort of information.
So what he's saying is not just the clicking, is there something else like whizzing or brewing?
When you've analysed it, there's intelligence behind it, behind why it's there. It's sort of like if you listen to normal music like Mozart and that, you kind of like work out that intelligence did that.
But also, if say you've got a recording one day, and then if you went back 2 weeks later and pointed the thing in the same direction, are you still going to pick up the same sound?
It comes and goes.
No.
And it comes in different directions. So I've got another thing. This is more music, but this is an alien. Seems to take time. So that's horrible sound, but sometimes reported that as music.
Sure.
Earth whistlers. Oh, okay.
Whistlers.
Earth whistlers. So that sound gets reported as music, and it sounds horrible really. And what that is earth whistlers. And whistlers are produced by lightning and travel along Earth's magnetic field line from one hemisphere to the other. So they can pick that sort of thing up, officially recognise that sort of thing. So there's another example of what they pick up.
Earth. Florida.
Now that is what's called chorus waves in the Earth's magnetosphere. It's generated in the valence radiation belts by electrons spiraling along Earth's magnetic field lines. So that is officially recognised as the sort of thing they can pick up, and also signs what they call music.
So where did you get these recordings? Those recordings?
You can get this downloaded from the internet.
Right.
I was going to give a reference.
Chilean whistlers.
Jupiter. That is, Jupiter has Whistler waves which propagate at audio frequencies along closed field lines, and Jupiter's magnetosphere. It's like the Earth whistlers, but of course on another planet. So those this is all, the first one I told you was the one which is the alien. These are all things which they officially recognise as existing.
Jovian bow shock.
Is it up loud enough? So they call that sort of thing music,
but there's something deep in that, because what happens is, I come from an era when we used to use modems, right, rather than broadband. You connected up with a modem. When the modem started to connect, because every night I hear a blackbird on top of a tree, and the complicated song it sings is then repeated from a tree about half a mile away, then a quarter of a mile away from somewhere else. And I think that is just not making a noise, something's going on there, because when you connected up modems, there was a noise that we used to call squelching, where one modem went and the other modem would say. Now what they were saying was, the first modem was saying, look, I'm a modem, I can speak at any speed between 2400 and 4800. What's the maximum speed that you can speak at? And the modem replies and says, I can speak at 36. And responds back to that modem. Then the modem says, okay, let's start a conversation at 36. And then the connection is made. So therefore, in noises like that, and bird song especially, and the music that you're playing, there could be some deep-rooted communication which is intelligible going on there somewhere.
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Either speeded up or slowed down, broken it down.
The first one was the aliens. This is supposed to be, the ones I've shown playing now, are supposed to be natural. And this one is supposed to, is from Jupiter again, that one, and it's supposed to be that all the planets in the solar system are embedded in the solar wind, so they're picking this up from the solar wind. Solar wind travels supersonically with respect to the slower planets at a speed of about 1 million miles per hour, and this is what was that you just heard was what was picked up from Voyager spacecraft encountering Jupiter's bow shock. It's sort of so that's that. So if I could play the one again, this is the alien one. So it's not the same thing. Okay, so that's just to remind you that there is a difference. That one is the alien, and the other 4 were sort of supposed to be natural sounds we should get from space. So there was another one. So of course, that's why I punched it there. So if you go to that website, it says NASA released these recordings of strange space music heard by Apollo 10 astronauts. The astronauts heard the strange whistling sound when they were orbiting the moon, and at the time when the Apollo 10 astronauts were up there, we didn't tell you that they were picking up this strange space music. They were only telling us afterwards. Well, only more recently in the past few years about this. So I've got a clip of that. I've got a clip of it, and of course my computer's too old, and I couldn't manage to copy it very well.
Apollo 10 entered lunar orbit. As they passed around the far side of the moon, the astronauts lose all contact with Earth.
It's about an hour on the backside of the moon away from Earth where you lose radio contact.
During this hour, the astronauts are on their own. No one on Earth can see or hear them. When they emerge, they seem to have survived their voyage around the far side unscathed.
Houston can tell the world that we have arrived.
As far as anyone on Earth knows, this mission is going like clockwork. Everything according to plan. There's nothing irregular going on at all.
But nearly 4 decades later, lost recordings emerged revealing an unsettling incident on the far side of the moon.
There are recorders that record whatever's going on the backside, and then you do a data dump when you come around the front side. And Houston or Mission Control then can see what happened when you were on the backside.
After the NASA astronauts returned to Earth,
We are returning to the Earth.
NASA transcribes the tapes, then buries them in the archives without comment.
These conversations are recorded in the transcripts. Those transcripts were classified.
Yeah, so withhold information from the public if they thought it was in the public's business.
Even after declassification, the transcripts lay undiscovered in the NASA archives until 2008.
Finding record of this conversation is like finding a nuclear pizza. It takes years.
The tapes contain recordings of strange otherworldly music coming from the Apollo module's radio. The conversations that follow the sounds makes it clear they are unlike anything the astronauts have ever heard.
In their headsets, it sounded like a woo-woo kind of noise. Sounds like, our space-time music. If I were to hear something back there, the first thing probably would freak me out.
Over the course of an hour, they mentioned it multiple times. This is not just some anomaly. This is something that they're all really hearing. It's really real.
So they didn't report it at the time, but Apollo 10 astronauts were picking up this strange woo-woo sound, or what they're calling space music as well. I don't know how related that is to what I've got, but they did in that program on NASA's Unexplained Files. They've recently released that information. So
you don't think it could be just a cosmic energy making that sound?
sorry.
You couldn't just think it could be just a cosmic energy making that sound. You think it gets more than that, do you think?
I don't know what it was, the Apollo astronauts, but it's the one I got from Peter Tuesday, which is I think aliens. So
I have more trust in your friend's recording that you have witnessed than anything that's released by NASA, to be quite honest.
So that's what you got, and it was based on the old physics. Go over it again, old physics, and they've got a mental block about looking at it that way, and they've also got this way of dismissing things because of what Einstein said, or they've got ways of dismissing it because they've got sounds which are similar, which they're calling whistles and things. And when they did have it, Apollo 10 astronauts, they covered it up at the time. This is more information about it. Earth whistlers are produced by lightning and travel along Earth's magnetic field line from one hemisphere to the other, as shown in this illustration. The ionised gas exists in this region of space. The high frequencies travel faster than low frequencies, thereby dispersing the wave from the lightning stroke into whistling tone that decreases in frequency with increasing time, hence the term whistler. So it's the, I would say, it's the electrical interference caused by lightning, and you can pick this up as sort of radio sounds. It's sort of like natural background sounds in space. And there's also other things like the chorus waves in the Earth's magnetosphere generated in the Van Allen belt by electron spiraling. So they've got all these explanations, and then you've got the whistlers that are on in Jupiter, showing that this lightning discharges in the atmosphere in Jupiter. And so you're saying it's Voyager 1 spacecraft provided the first direct evidence of lightning on the giant planet Jupiter by hearing these sounds. And then you also got these sounds in the solar wind. So in outer space you've got all these strange sounds going on. You've got the sort of natural sounds. And so this is the site where you can hear the sounds of space. It's from Don Gurnett's favourite sounds of space. And so the famous detection of what they thought might have been extraterrestrials was of course the wow signal. And there's been programmes on television about the wow signal, science programmes. They thought they detected an alien signal back in 1977, but they sort of like weren't able to reproduce it. They tried to dismiss it. So this is basically what's going on. They're sort of like, they're not, if you present evidence to them, they're already locked into their way of thinking about things, and they are not open to thinking about things differently.
Who are you referring to when you say
the people, the scientists, at SETI, because it was reported to SETI, and they sort of didn't pick up on it. It's like in knowledge, truth especially go through 3 stages. First of all, you ignore it. Second stage, you ridicule it. And the third stage, you accept it. But it's sort of like it's still going through that sort of pattern. That when you report, when my friend Peter Cheesley reported to SETI, they ignored it. Sort of they just wouldn't reply to him. There was no. They didn't want to go into communication about it. They talked about it, they just ignored it. And sort of I reported to put it into this UFO magazine online, it sort of like still didn't attract that much interest. So it's sort of like at the stage 1, we ignore it. It's not something to talk about. Just don't talk about it. Stage 1, ignore it.
Well, it'd be handy if you could have some more recordings.
Well, he did have more recordings as well.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's passed away now. That's the end.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I'm just wondering your view on the trumpets that have been heard in the last year and a half.
Trumpets?
Yeah, the trumpets that have been heard in the, it's all over YouTube, and actually I heard one. I got kind of waken up by like a, it was like, I don't know, I felt like an energetic force, and it was before the huge thunderstorm about sort of 5 days ago, and I heard one as well, and I went onto YouTube and typed in just trumpet noises 2017, they've been heard globally, like a weird vibration and sound people are hearing, and I don't know what your view is on that.
There have been reports of strange sounds coming from the sky, and sometimes they say it's meteorites hits the atmosphere.
Yeah, it sounds really, and it obviously sort of, you know, on a revolution, it very fits in with like a trumpet. It's really
they try to come up with different guesses or explanations as to what it might be.
Is it like a tone or tune?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. The one that I heard, it was weird. It was like I literally kind of just got woken up. It was like a natural alarm, and I was shaking because I'm quite in tune anyway, and I was shaking, and it was. I just had this overwhelming sense of doom, and I heard it. It was doing like a low trumpet sound, and I thought, what's that, you know? And then literally, again, I just continued to shake, and about 5 minutes after that, a huge light, and I thought it was a meteorite, a huge lightning bolt came down. Apparently it made a crack in the New Forest, it came down, and then there was a huge thunderstorm. But I thought that was
Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I thought that was meteorite, that first thing, but I actually woke up before that, and no one else would have done, they would have woke up to the big thing, but it was like this energetic force that was building, and I woke up to that, and I heard it, and so I thought, hang on a minute, sort of, so I went on just to see if there was anything, and apparently they'd been heard quite a few places, and they'd been recording, so I just didn't know with your sounds what your view was on it.
Was it windy?
Huh?
Was it windy?
No, this wasn't. No, I'm very in tune with the elements. This wasn't anything that you could fit. This was generally, very much this kind of revelationary kind of. This was a, it was a faint trumpet. That's why I was like,
You don't know what pitch you could get.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of. The lightning strike that came down the bolt was very much like a meteorite in regards to a smash, but this was like a faint trumpet. It was, you know.
How soon before?
So I woke up shaking. It was really weird. It was like there was so much energy and electricity.
How soon before the
lightning bolt? Possibly 6.5 minutes or something.
Because there is something that happens just before. Animals do it all the time. When there's just about to be an earthquake or something like that, all of a sudden the animals will just clear off. They know something's going to happen, but they're not sure what. And it's almost as though there's the stresses that are involved just before an earthquake send out other signals which sensitives can actually pick up as being something impending.
It's supposed to be in the ground. Sort of like infrasound vibrations.
No, this was up there. Like I say, when I YouTubed it, and I realised that there was a few that's been happening since last year. I was I was relieved. I wasn't going nuts, but it was quite interesting. And it's. I was just also wondering your link with Apollo. I don't know if you could help me out with this. Obviously, in the New World Translation, so they've got a part in Revelation where it says, "And those who worship the god Apollo," or something, which would translate back to the Greek Apollo. And obviously, you've got NASA naming a space shuttle after that. So, what would the link be with that?
The link with that is when you analyse it in depth, as Mike Barra has done, The Secret History of NASA. The names Columbus, Apollo, all mean something in, let's just say, esoteric philosophy. Even Columbia it has much deeper meaning than just Columbus' name.
So why would those who worship be deemed,
Well, basically, it's a way of acknowledging between initiates, this is who we are and what we stand for.
Right.
A little bit like a Masonic handshake.
Yes.
Which will mean nothing to a non-Mason.
Right.
And everything to those who are there.
Right.
And I mean, it's like they called it the 33 Club. Well, there are 33 Masonic degrees and so on, and then you, moving in deeper, you have, as Roger mentions, Bruce Cathay, the 33rd harmonic, and so on. And if you are in tune or have understanding, It's a thing that says we are here, and it's just coming out now. It's been taken a further step by, I think it's Prousson, the Shepherds of Arcadia. There is ergo ignes sum or something, I can't remember, which means I too have the secret. And the school of thought with that is showing that they're all taking magic mushrooms to enhance their consciousness, and mushrooms in various up or down or guises appear discreetly hidden in the paintings.
Isn't that associated with the Da Vinci Code?
Something
that
like that.
painting?
The Da Vinci Code doesn't really touch on the magic mushrooms.
No, it touches on that painting.
Yeah, but everybody was taking that at that time to get knowledge, and there's books about it and everything.